Hello and welcome back to Best Era Football. This again is the era of from 1984 to 2000, the greatest or the most fun teams from that era. Today will be the 1996 Super Bowl champion Green Bay Packers visiting the 1991 primetime Showtime Atlanta Falcons. You see both teams are 1-0. They both won their Week 1 matchup. Um, and the similarities don't stop there, as each team uh, uh, suffered one injury in that Week 1 win, both to the defensive line, as the Packers will be without Big Gilbert Brown in the middle, and the Falcons will be without one of their defensive ends, Rick
Hello,
Bryant.
everybody. I'm Larry Ridley. This is Madden 18 on EA Sports. It's hard to imagine this not being a fun game to watch. It's the Packers going up against the Falcons.
There you see some of the stats from their Week 1 win.
Team.
Rushing yards similar, passing yards
and Charles Davis.
heavily in favor of the Packers.
All right, Larry, thank you very much. It's the National Football League presented by EA Sports. A moment ago, here was the scene. The Falcons coming out from their tunnel to the roar of all the folks here in Atlanta. We're ready for football as these Falcons get set to match up with the Green Bay Packers. Hello again, everyone. Brandon
There is primetime Deion Sanders, the most exciting player on the Falcons team, in my opinion. They also have Bad Moon Rising right there. Hendricks set to kick off for the Pack.
So something's got to give here.
I love it when both teams come in off of wins. Great mindsets, and it usually leads to a really well-played game.
And let's set up the super slow motion sim, of course.
Two teams here, each off to 1-0.
And here we go. Kickoff. Taken in by Deion across the 20-25. Spin move, taken down at the 30-yard line. Pretty good return, 5 yards better than a touchback. And out comes Chris Miller. There you see his Week 1 stats, which was against the 1985 Chicago Bears. So 101 yards, 1 interception, no touchdowns. But he won the game against a Super Bowl championship team, and that was on the road. Now he's at home taking on another Super Bowl championship team, so a tough schedule for the Falcons early on. But worst case, they're coming out of it 1-1, so they can't feel too bad. There's a handoff right up the middle, a nice 11-yard gain by Steve Broussard. Now again, these Falcons, they rotate the running backs. They have 3 of them who will get many carries. In real life, 1991, they had the 1, 2, and 3 running backs were separated by less than 10 carries, as they really split it almost evenly between 3 backs. Miller, a handoff again. And there's Rozier, so right away, 2 different carries to 2 different backs. And good yardage against the Packers.
Let's talk a little football 101 here, because one of the keys to advancing the ball downfield, success on first down. Huge difference.
Now you haven't seen it much, or you haven't seen it from Week 1 or the first 2 plays here, but the Falcons are actually a passing team first, although they do run enough. There's a diving catch by, that looks like Pritchard. And here is your Falcons offensive line: Ken, Hoover, Dukes, Freilich, and Chris Hinton. The line, Pegram and Broussard are the 2 backs featured there. Andre Rison and Mike Lanes, both very gifted receivers on the outside. And it doesn't matter who they said the tight end is, because they didn't really use a tight end, so it's probably just a backup tackle. Or LaBelle, I guess, is a tight end. He just didn't get much catches. That's what he used in there for, is to block. Of course, this is Madden 18, so unfortunately you will see the Falcons go to the tight end in the passing game. Nothing we can do about that. But hopefully they'll go mostly to the backs and the receivers. And they'll hand off again, but this time Packers are there to stop it. That's Pegram's first carry, and it was not impressive.
That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down.
You see the 98 Vikings got up to 2-0 with the win against the 97 Steelers. Bears got back on track. Play action pass, Chris Miller now waiting. He's got some time. He's going to throw short, and nothing there.
And that play goes nowhere. Taken down, losing yardage at the 50, right at midfield.
So the Falcons will have to come up with a play here on 3rd and 12. Opening drive, they've gotten it to midfield. They've taken over 4 minutes off the clock, but they need to convert here. It's all for nothing. Miller launches it, and he finds an offensive lineman playing tight end. He was eligible, though. This is Madden 18. They will throw to the tight end no matter how bad of a receiver they are. Big number 65 does hold on to make the catch. So the Falcons pulling out all the stops. Throwing to offensive linemen, whatever it takes to surprise the 96 Packers. There's play action pass, and Reggie White's all over Chris Miller. And that is a loss of 9 yards. Big Reggie White comes through with the sack. 96 Packers with 6 sacks last week. 1 here today. They hand off to Pegram. Pegram seems to be the least effective of the 3 early on. Here's your defense. You'll see Gilbert Brown's missing. He's injured right now. Sean Jones, Reggie White, Santana Dotson still. Formidable line. Ron Cox doesn't play as much as the other 3, but Simmons, Kuntz, and Williams are all good linebackers. Eugene Robinson, Leroy Butler are fantastic safeties. Evans and Newsom playing the corners.
Now play number 9 on the opening drive, but it's 3rd and long. They'll set up a throw.
Miller waiting. Still, the offensive line giving him a heck of a lot of time, and he finds Mike Pritchard downfield for another first down. Chris Miller, 4 of 4 for 48 yards, a great start for the Atlanta Falcons. Chris Miller's looking good, and the Falcons have taken 7 minutes off the clock. The Falcons must have been watching how impressive Brett Favre was in Week 1. The Packers were involved in one of the broadcast games from Week 1, so you can certainly find it under the playlist Best Era Football if you want to see how impressive Brett Favre was. But the Falcons dedicated to taking time off the clock and keeping him on the sidelines. Another handoff, and he fights to the 10-yard line, 11-yard line. Broussard now 12 yards on 4 carries. 3rd and 9 coming up. The Falcons have been great on 3rd down so far, converting all 3 attempts. Miller. Line gives him time again, but now he runs out of time and has to throw it out of the back of the end zone. Still a good play by Miller. Nothing open. He got rid of it to avoid the sack. Miller with an impressive start to this game, and this bodes well for the Falcons trying to keep pace with the 96 Packers. Norm Johnson now, a relative chip shot. And he puts it through. Norm Johnson gives the Falcons the lead 3-0 over the 96 Packers. 14 plays, 8 minutes and 38 seconds taken off the clock. And now Don Beebe will be the return man for the Packers today, apparently, and he returns it up to the 31. And here comes Brett Favre. Last week he lit it up 76%, 377 yards with a couple touchdowns. He did have the 1 turnover, which he will do. And with Dion and McKyer out there, primetime and showtime, as well as another baseball player and Brian Jordan in the secondary, we might see some interceptions today if Brett Favre gets a little careless. Ooh, his first throw is nowhere near anyone. Take a look. He's giving a look to the receiver like maybe the route was not run that he expected, but there's a look at the offensive line of the Packers. Edgar Bennett and Dorsey Levens will both get carries. Antonio Freeman, Robert Brooks is still healthy, and Keith Jackson is the tight end. Robert Brooks was a fantastic receiver. In 1996, he got injured in real life, so his injury rating is fairly low here in Best Era Football, but he has survived at least 1 week. Now, how did that guy survive? I had to give the Falcons like 4 or 5 haircuts, and I apparently missed one on Barnett or Barrett. Maybe I'll double check. Maybe I checked and he did have the longer hair, but I doubt it. I think I missed the haircut there. Keep that in mind. Again, if you see any haircuts needed, misspelled names, anything like that, certainly let me know. The farther we go, the more cleaned up everything will be. We should be somewhere around 99% clean now, but there might still be a few haircuts needed. So the Packers, after watching the Falcons take over 8 minutes off the clock, only take a minute and a half off themselves, and the Falcons will get the ball right back. That's inside the 10, bounces to the 5. Beautiful punt and good coverage. Falcons will be all the way back to their own 5-yard line.
Now the Falcons offense, they get ready to head back out here. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not.
Miller, quick drop. And that ball's dropped. Miller's now thrown 2 consecutive incompletions after starting off with 4 straight completions. Miller drops back to pass again. He's standing in his end zone, spins around, and then throws it to no one. So Miller imagining pressure was there, even though it wasn't. And he started off 4 for 4. He's now 4 of 7. Falcons would not want the punter to be standing in the end zone, so let's see what they do here. Miller gets rid of it before he gets hit, and the diving catch by Andre Rison picks up the first down. That was very much needed, and Bad Moon Andre Rison comes through. All-pro receiver. And now 5 wide for the Falcons. Miller slings it short, and that ball's knocked out at the last minute. There's Leroy Butler calling the play on defense. 2 tight ends. This looks like a running play from the Falcons. No, they're going to throw. They are changing it up here. Quick pass to Michael Haynes.
At the 23, 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. I think defensively you're okay with that. You're in the first quarter. He's going to get some.
Falcons 1991 uniform, of course, is in Madden 18, which we are thankful for. They do give us some of the historic uniforms to use. And they look great in it here, but there is another dropped ball. Chris Miller 6 of 11, but that's at least the 3rd time he's hit his man, and they just cannot seem to take a hit. There you see a great game. The Dolphins improved to 2-0 with a 23-21 win over the Chargers. Oh, no fair catch called by Desmond Howard, and he pays a price.
And it'll be Packer football here. 1st down and 10. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. And the last drive, the first drive for them.
Okay, Brett Favre comes out still down by 3.
Well, you don't look down at your play sheet and say this is what the problem is. Let's find out who my playmakers are. Get the ball.
Favre's going to throw. And he slings it complete to Robert Brooks. And that is the first down of week 2 for the Green Bay Packers. There you see 2 Super Bowl winners down below, both undefeated until the Rams take care of the Redskins. There's a broken tackle, and Keith Jackson's into Atlanta territory.
It's a pickup of 16 there, and it'll lead to a new set of downs.
Packers are loaded. 2 good running backs, at least 3 good receivers, 2 very good tight ends. There's Edgar Bennett on that carry. And here's your Falcons defense. Mo Gardner, Tim Green, and Oliver Barnett. Our starting, remember Rick Bryant is hurt. Raid, Jesse Tuggle, Lyles, and Connor are your linebackers today. Scott Case and Brian Jordan are the safeties. And there's Showtime Tim McKyer and Prime Time Deion Sanders. Almost need to hear Chris Berman say prime time. A jump snap to Brett Favre. He gives it to Dorsey Levens, and Levens may have hurt his shoulder. Tim Green on the tackle. Levens is in pain. He's grabbing one shoulder, then he grabs the other, so we're not sure which shoulder it is. It'll probably be an ankle injury.
And for the Falcons, 5 men in the secondary, now on third.
3rd and 5. Falcons would need a stop here if they want to hold on to this lead. Favre from the shotgun. In trouble. Oh, 56 misses the sack, and Favre hits his man. No, he was out of bounds. Out of bounds, and they're going to try the field goal anyways. A 56-yarder. This is right at his limit. It is indoors, though. Chris Jackie, I would say he's 53-yard guy. I don't know about 56. No, it's short. It's short. Chris Jackie, I did not think would quite hit from 56, but it is indoors, so if he's going to do it, this would be the place. But he comes up short. Let's see how short. Well, you know what? That's about 3 yards short. So 53 might be his exact limit. Falcons take over. Good field position out to 46. They'll give it to Broussard again. He finds a hole and gets across midfield. Broussard's now up to 23 yards rushing. And so far, the Falcons have been the more impressive team in the first quarter, as they were able to be more impressive than the 85 Bears last week. Chris Miller, play action. He wants to go deep. It's covered. Takes some more time. Now he's in trouble. He will launch it for the end zone, and it's going to be intercepted. Intercepted. Miller should not have thrown that one. He wanted it. It wasn't there. The pressure came, and he went for it anyways. Well, the first quarter was mostly dominated by the Falcons, but a poor decision by Miller to end the quarter as the Packers start in the second quarter with the ball. Favre now from the shotgun, down by 3. They'll hand it off. And Edgar Bennett now has just 5 yards on 2 carries. See, the 85 Bears bounced back from their Week 1 loss to the Falcons with a 20-3 win against the 99 Buccaneers. Brett Favre comes towards the sidelines, but I think Beebe's out of bounds. It's 2 consecutive passes by Favre where he threw it too far into the sideline. Favre now, he'll roll out, and he's going to launch it across his body into all kinds of traffic, and Scott Case, the big hitting safety, did not bring his hands. That was a layup interception. Oh, Brett Favre will do that every once in a while, as great as he is. But the Falcons fail to take advantage. See the Niners get back on track with a win. Every single week you're playing a playoff team. Even the 98 Cardinals, who might be the weakest team in best era football, we're still a playoff team. So there are no easy games. I highly doubt anyone's going 16-0. So that's why you start off 0-1. Even 0-2, it's okay. No one's going to really run away, I don't believe. But, of course, we'll see what happens. Of course, if you do start off 2-0 like the 98 Vikings did, and the winner of this game will be, that's a good feeling, as you know. Each win is impressive in this league. Chris Miller gets run down from behind by Brian Williams. And the Falcons will have a 2nd and 20. Baltimore and Cleveland are both 1-1. You see Carolina, one of the few teams to go up to 2-0. Reggie White drags 2 men down and then forces a fumble, and nobody knows it's a fumble except for George Coons, who falls on it. That was weird looking play. Chris Miller Reggie White pushed. He was double teamed and he pushed them both. Look at that. 2 men on him. He pushes them both into Chris Miller. Miller then drops the ball. White doesn't even realize it came out, but Kuntz does. 2 men blocking White. He bull rushes them both into Miller and then throws his arm out there and pops the ball loose. And it's the great players that are making the difference here in Best Era Football. Reggie White is too much to handle for that Falcons offensive line so far. Miller's now turned the ball over twice. Brett Favre looking to take advantage. He'll have to go underneath to Bennett. The Falcons still up by 3, but they've turned the ball over twice now. And it looks like the Packers are at least going to tie it on this drive. There's a handoff. Nicely tackled. Bennett only 5 yards on 3 carries now. Dorsey Levens, they have not told us his injury, but he has not been back since holding his shoulder. 3rd and 4. Falcons would love to stop him to a field goal here. Favre from the shotgun. He's looking for more. He's got Brooks inside the 5. Brett Favre now 4 of 8. Packers up to 52 total yards. Favre, touchdown to Robert Brooks. So Robert Brooks, the longer he stays healthy, even better this 96 Packers team will be. Well, when you're playing Brett Favre, your only hope is to win the turnover battle. Because he will. We saw the one he threw across his body that went right into Case's hands, but he didn't come up with it. He'll give you a couple. If you don't take advantage of those, and especially if you turn the ball over yourself, it's going to be real hard to beat the Packers. And that's what the Falcons are trying to accomplish today. Lose the turnover battle against Brett Favre, still win the game.
It's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. Here comes the field general leading his offense back out there for the next possession. And I guess the question, Charles, is what's the formula for keeping him better protected? Because as we see, the protection, it struggled.
And normally what you get is renewed determination. When the big guy gets hit, that usually sparks people. Hey, we can't let this happen anymore.
Okay, Miller. 2 consecutive drives with a turnover. He cannot turn it over this drive no matter what. Drops back to pass. Rolls out to the right. He's going to tuck it and get a couple yards.
And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. Call it a gain of 3. And it's a 2nd down.
Chris Miller now with the handoff. Not a huge hole by Broussard. Gets the first down. Broussard averaging over 6 yards a carry, or over 5 yards a carry. The other running backs not as impressive. This might be a game where you just ride Broussard. Well, maybe this is the game where you split the rushes between 3 backs. Broussard doesn't do anything on that one. Pegram out there, but he splits out wide. Miller now, 5 guys in patterns. He's going for the deep one. Pritchard. Oof. A nice touch pass to get in between 3 Packers. But one of those 3 was Leroy Butler, and he wasn't looking at the ball. He was looking to hurt someone. Pritchard does bounce back up, but that was a heck of a shot. Miller now 3rd and 11. He'll go underneath, and the hard hit again forces the ball loose. Miller now, he started off 4 of 4. He is now 6 of 14. So doing quick math here, that's just 2 of his last 10. This punt is a monster punt, but too far, and it will be a touchback. Here you see another battle of champions. The Cowboys got the better of the 98 Broncos. And that puts the 93 Cowboys, one of the favorites at 2-0. The 98 Broncos, another favorite at 0-2.
You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters. Because you know
Okay, Brett Favre from the shotgun, up by 4. Hand it off to Edgar Bennett. He'll break one tackle.
On any running play that's called, they're always hoping that it's going to break big and go the distance. But when you get a nice game like that, you're able to do so many things anyway. You can come back and run essentially the same play again. Continue to
Hand off to Bennett again, and this time he's whacked right at the line.
You have the defense back on its heels.
No gain on the play there, so they're left with
Hey Ryan, how's it going today?
Big boys down there in the trenches.
Get a little bit of afternoon best era football for a change.
You talk about those defensive tackles, those nose tackles. They're not just big, they're immense. And what a big
So far, the Packers are winning the turnover battle, which is making it hard for Atlanta. But there's a nice sack by Scott Case. Earlier he dropped a sure interception, but makes up for it partially there with the sack.
Safety blitz, that can be a gamble, but it proves fruitful there.
Yeah, you're exactly right about the gamble because oftentimes the free safety is the last line of defense against a long pass.
And here's the punt by Hentridge. Deion will get to return this one. 35, 40, makes a move, 45. Deion Sanders sure is exciting, but that 17 yards is nothing to sneeze at. The Packers are glad, of course, it's not a touchdown.
Game's hit a little bit of a lull here, a little bit of a snag. Punts on back-to-back drives.
And old school coaches don't necessarily mind that.
Bob was not. Are you talking about Brian? Was it the Browns game?
And that's what both teams are seeking right now.
Yeah, they'll be seeking to gain that advantage here on this drive. A gain of 3, second down.
Brian Feltz, of course, if you're referring to Sack to the Future, Brian Feltz is the channel that has both the Browns and Cowboys. And yes, he calls himself Angry Man Broadcast. So I've seen him up 28-0 and start losing it. So it doesn't matter what the score is. If something doesn't go his team's way, he definitely lets us know about it, which is good. I mean, good in the sense that you know how he's feeling. He's certainly not holding back. Chris Miller will throw it in all kinds of trouble. Evans with the interception. That's turnover number 3 for Chris Miller. And again, you're going up against Brett Favre already, a 96 Packer championship team. Your only hope is to win the turnover battle, and the Falcons are now at -3. But their defense has been very impressive to keep this game close. Brett Favre now in the play action. He'll roll out to the right, and he gets rid of it before getting sacked. The Browns, so I haven't actually not watched it, but the Chargers lead my Broncos in Sack to the Future by a game or 2. I think 1 game going into this week. And he did send a message saying the Broncos are still alive. So I believe that the Browns did win that game, although I have not gone to the Brian Phelps channel and watched that yet. If he did beat the Chargers, then that means it'll all come down to that Broncos-Chargers matchup, which I believe is the last game of the season. Favre looking deep, and that was challenged by Scott Case. Good job. Yeah, of course, Sack to the Future is in 1961. And, yeah, that Broncos team is very, very much lacking talent. So I need every win against the Chargers I can get. And no one wants to see Deion Sanders call for a fair catch, but that's what he does on that one. So the Falcons defense, Chris Miller has turned the ball over 3 times, and yet the Falcons defense has kept this game close, 7-3. There's Broussard. He'll run over one man, but Robinson comes up to clean up the mess. Yeah, we'll still be AFL through the 60s until they finally combine the leagues. I actually don't remember if it's in 69 or 70 technically, but I think it's after the 69 season. And then, of course, the Super Bowls start in 66. So it is still AFL. But, of course, since it's Madden 18, you know, his Cleveland Browns are in the AFC, so... and the Colts, the Baltimore Colts, are also in the AFC. Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC, so it's unfortunately hard to recreate the AFL and NFL being separate, but they are technically AFL. And in 1961, the AFL was still behind the NFL. So I know this because I do the ratings for Sack to the Future, and you should notice that for the most part, an NFL team will have the better players than the AFL team. So when the Browns play the Chargers, it's the NFL Cleveland Browns against the AFL San Diego Chargers. Although the Chargers are about right there with the Houston Oilers as the best AFL teams, they still are behind most of the NFL teams.
As I search for my cue card here, there we go. Coming up at halftime, Larry Ridley will join us from Orlando. He'll have
here we are, back to best era football at the 2-minute warning. Falcons with the ball, still only down by 4, which is impressive in its own right. Miller needs to start completing passes, though. He'll complete that one. And he's 8 of 17 now, 82 yards, 2 interceptions. He's also fumbled once. Oh man, that would be so great if Madden would catch up to NBA 2K and FIFA and so many other games and a lot of things. That would be great, but it still does give us some things, something to work with at least. There's Miller, and that's a flag. Might that be pass interference? Or is that holding on the Falcons? It looks like it's going to be holding. Holding again, Chris Hinton.
So I think drastic measures had to be taken, right? The regular way was not working. He was getting hit almost every snap, it felt like. They had to try and keep him up.
Yeah, it certainly is a lot of work to create rosters. So I would love if they just had these teams in there, even if they were, I know they make all that money on Ultimate Team, people buying packs and stuff. If you could just buy the team, as long as they would allow the team, like if you could buy these 91 Falcons and play with them in a franchise, I would certainly buy them. Yeah, I know. Madden used to let you do, I mean, way back in PlayStation 2 days, like Madden 2005, 2006, somewhere around there. They used to have the best team still. And you might have to do some things to unlock them, but once you unlock them, you could play with them, and it was good stuff. I don't think they were named. Like, I think Walter Payton would be called running back number 34, but you still, first of all, you knew who it was. Second of all, you could go in there and just change the name, but he already had the ratings correct and, you know, body shape and skin tone and all that.
He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away.
I don't remember who was on the cover. I don't even remember the exact year. That was the last one of that. I think back when Michael Vick and Ray Lewis were on the cover, they did it. I don't know. I don't know if Donovan McNabb, Sean Alexander, I don't remember if those ones had the great teams or not. But it's been at least 10 years of them not giving us the great teams.
Maybe try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area.
Quick hitter here, it's complete. That throw good for only a couple. It brings up third down.
I think it's okay there. They didn't get a whole lot on that.
Yeah, I think McNabb probably still had the great teams then.
Built like this guy. Big target, guy you can spot pretty easily. Put it on him when your other targets aren't open.
Oh, by the way, if you, I don't know if you have watched the other best era games that you haven't seen live. That's a nice catch. Brett Favre lays it up there one-on-one. It's a very good catch. I missed who it was. Was that Antonio Freeman? It's a 2-minute warning, so we're not going to get to see the replay. But I was going to say, if you, yeah, Antonio Freeman grabbed that ball, 41-yard catch, and now the Packers might be in business. But I was going to say, if you do watch any of the best era football in the playlist, I don't think you caught the Rams and Redskins live, the 99 Rams and the 91 Redskins. Unfortunately, I've heard from someone that my microphone was not working the entire time. So it ends up being a great game, though. So it's unfortunate that the microphone was off. Still a good game between two champions, though. Obviously, it sounds like my mic is working today, so that's good. Brett Favre's up to 50% now. Both quarterbacks struggling on the completion percentage today. Packers trying to get more points before the half. Favre looks end zone, and he's got his man. Touchdown. Is that Mays? Derek Mays, I believe. Derek Mays with the reception. He was wide open, busted coverage. Favre finds it on the money. Brian Jordan didn't get there quick enough. One-handed grab by Derek Mays. All right. Oh, yeah. I had no idea. There was another game where I found it about halfway through. I realized my mic was off. That was my own fault. I turned it off. And then I think that was the Houston Cincinnati game. And I turned it back on, and that was annoying. That was my own fault. But this one, my mic was on. So I don't know why in the Rams-Redskins game it didn't come through, but I had no idea. Because, like I said, if I looked at it, it looks like it does now. It says on and everything. It just didn't work in that game. Chris Miller tries to throw his third interception of the half, but Newsome drops it. After that, you might just take a knee here and get into the locker room. 3 turnovers already for the Falcons. Nope, Miller's going to throw. And he will complete it. And now they will call timeout with 1 second to go. If they could pull off a Hail Mary, that would make this game much closer. Miller just got to wait longer. He's launching it. He's going for it to the 10-yard line. And that's interception number 3. Turnover number 4 for Chris Miller. And the Packers go into the locker room up 14-3. And now the Packers will get the ball. Falcons defense has played admirably, but the offense just keeps turning the ball over, and Desmond Howard was fighting the air for the football. He hung on to it, though. Brett Favre's just one good drive away from probably putting this one away. Total yards are almost even, but it's the turnovers that are just disastrous for the Falcons. It's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there. We also haven't gotten the update on Dorsey Levens. He got hurt in the first drive of the game, and no report to see how bad it is.
5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your
I love how it says Atlanta Falcons 4 takeaways. Just a Madden bug. It's obviously 4 giveaways. Packers have not turned it over yet. There's Bennett. He finds some room. And he's up to 21 yards. He had 13, or the team had 13 in the first half.
At this stage of the game, the run pass numbers are a little bit out of whack because most of
See, the 1990 Raiders beat the 1985 New York Jets, 93 Cowboys all over the 98 Broncos. Luckily, you've already seen these games if you wanted to, because all the scores are showing up down below. But if you want to, of course, go back and look at the broadcast ones. I'll always have them saved in the playlist. Favre has tons of time on this one. He'll roll out to the right, and he decides to run for it and take a shot to the leg. 2-yard gain. That might not have been worth it. Now, of course, Brett Favre's injury rating is a 99, as is his toughness, as he should be one of the hardest people to injure in this league, but it's still Madden, so none of that matters. Favre comes up empty on that one, and again, the Falcons' defense keeping them in the game.
I mean, after that incompletion, look credit to the defense for shutting them down on that play. Maybe you try and run the football a little bit more in this spot.
That's going to be punted over Deion's head into the end zone. The last thing you need, if you're in total control of this game, is for Deion Sanders to return a punt on you or something. Maybe we need to see some more Broussard. He's running the ball pretty well.
This is probably how it was drawn up at the half. I think we can go inside the locker room, all right? And I think we would see up on the
and it looks like the Falcons might have listened to me. Well, they do hand it off, but they got the wrong running back out there. It's Pegram, who's averaging only half a yard a carry.
Did exactly what they wanted, and now their offense has to pay it off.
And now Pegram splits wide, so they have 5 wideouts. Miller. He's going to hold on to it too long and get hit and sacked by Wayne Simmons. That's the Packers' 4th sack. They had 6 in week 1, so the Packers are already up to 10 sacks. Miller standing in his end zone. Reggie White chasing him. That's another sack for Reggie White and a safety. Green Bay Packers increase their lead 16-3. Reggie White now has 5 sacks in the first 2 games of Best Era football.
I think he's got a great point. I really do, Brandon. But I would go ahead and up it to 6.
Excuse me.
To me, that's like scoring a touchdown. Easy now.
Well, this is starting to look like the Packers' Week 1 game. Total control, definitely showing that they're one of the best teams of all time. Brett Favre go underneath to Don Beebe. Oh, he gets hit and fumbles the football. And the Falcons recover, and there is finally a turnover caused by the Falcons. Beebe got lit up, drops the ball. See who got the hit. Was it the outfielder Brian Jordan? No, it was Jesse Tuggle. Tuggle put the hit on. The ball came loose, and Raid recovered it. The Falcons, if they can put this ball in the end zone, we might have a game. Chris Miller, shotgun. Play action. Rolls his left, slings it towards the end zone, and gives the ball right back. Intercepted by Eugene Robinson, his 2nd interception of the game. And the Falcons defense gives him a slight ray of hope, and then Chris Miller throws it away. They might need to get Tolliver in there. Here's a handoff to Bennett. In fact, let me go ahead and do that here since I am controlling the Falcons, technically. Let me get Mr. Tolliver in there, as Miller has just not had today. Tolliver is only 4 points. lower in the ratings. Now, of course, the idea is to have this super simmed. But if I see a situation where the quarterback just clearly doesn't have it, then on the team that I'm technically controlling, then I will make a change like that. I think it's time to see if Tolliver can do anything.
And he'll take this one up close to the 25-yard line. Just a couple on the pickup there, and now it's third down.
And now the Packers are facing 3rd and 10. Again, the Falcons' defense is playing their butts off, as they did against the 85 Bears. Miller did enough in that Week 1 game to beat the Bears, but he is having a disastrous game here against the Packers. Favre misses on that throw, and that'll bring up another punt.
As many times as you want, get in sync, practice it, do all those things. But once you get to game speed, it doesn't always time up quite that well. That one goes incomplete.
And the punt team on now as this one's sent away.
Dion now across the 20, 25, 30, gets a block, 35, spin move, 40. Oh, Deion Sanders. This is why you want to watch the 91 Falcons. He provides a little bit of excitement there. Look at this, gets a block, cuts it back, spin move. One. If he would have got past those two tacklers, that might have been the distance. Deion Sanders, so exciting. Now Tolliver out. He'll hand it off. And Rozier gets just his 2nd carry of the game. Now the Falcons are technically only down by 2 scores, even though it seems like they're getting destroyed. If Tolliver will not throw interceptions, maybe he can turn this back into a game. He completes his first pass for 6 yards to Michael Haynes.
For this rookie receiver when we asked the coaches about him, didn't they?
They certainly did, and obviously they liked his measurables, otherwise they wouldn't have brought him.
This is Sunday Night Football of Week 2. Best era football, and Tolliver has now completed his first 2 passes. And the Falcons are into Green Bay territory. If they can get a touchdown on this drive, suddenly this game will feel a lot different. There's a handoff up the middle. Steve Broussard's up to 47 yards. 2nd and 3. More tight ends out for the Falcons. And that's okay. The passing has just led to turnover, so let's run the ball a little bit. Oh, Broussard, I don't know what he was thinking there. He went way out wide to try to pull out the spin move instead of just slamming it up there and maybe getting the first down. Okay, Tolliver, let's see what you're made of on 3rd down. He completed his first 2 passes. From the shotgun, he will sling it towards the sidelines. Did he fit that in there? No. I think he was going to land out of bounds anyways. But Norm Johnson will come out for a 52-yarder. Norm Johnson should be able to hit from about 54. So he can do it from here. And that is good. Norm Johnson comes through. So the defense and Norm Johnson, well, special teams, because Deion was the biggest part of that drive. So the special teams and the defense of the Falcons are keeping them in it. And even though Chris Miller's turned the ball over 5 times, the Falcons are only down by 10.
This will be fielded at the 6. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line.
Desmond Howard also a very good returner in his own right. It's just the excitement of Deion Sanders is hard to compete with. Brett Favre now will give it to Edgar Bennett. Bennett, 9 carries, 21 yards. Dorsey Levens had 1 or 2 carries before being injured. Still no update. We don't know if he's out for the season, if he's out for the game, if he's going to come back in the 4th quarter. No idea. Brett Favre throws it towards the sidelines, but that's too far to the sideline. And Brett Favre has now gone under 50% for the day. The Falcons secondary has been very good. Play action pass now. Favre, line gives him time. He's going for it all. Deep downfield and nicely covered by Deion Sanders and Brian Jordan. The outfield of the Atlanta Braves, or actually the secondary of the Atlanta Falcons today, coming up with the defended pass there.
He steps into this one,
and there's Hendrick booming another punt. Deion lets it go, and that's a mistake. Deion makes a mistake after such an exciting return on the kickoff. He lets this one go, and the Packers down it at the 1.
So out come the Falcons now.
So Tolliver, 99 yards away from getting this game closer. And off Broussard, and he gets out of the end zone, which is important. Cannot give up another safety. Reggie White's already got one of those today. Packers have kept the Falcons to just 130 total yards. And a half. Brian Williams hit him, but Pegram does fall over the line to avoid the safety. It's 3rd and 10.
You know that old expression, it's not my night. It hasn't been his so far.
One more chance for a safety, maybe. And Pegram gets it out across the 5. 8 carries, only 9 yards, but that was his most important one of the day, as it gives his punter enough room to actually get the punt off. Remember, Desmond Howard is dangerous himself. Not as dangerous as Deion, but still capable of returning it. It's a very nice punt. He gets it at the 40, breaks a couple tackles, and luckily cleaned up before he could get his acceleration going again. Out comes Brett Favre. He has not turned it over today, while his counterpart turned it over 5 times. But he's only been able to put 16 points on the board. 2 of those was by Reggie White's safety, of course. And Edgar Bennett is going nowhere today, just 18 yards on 10 carries. The Falcons did a good job against Walter Payton and the Bears last week. So the Falcons have come up with 2 impressive defensive games so far in best era football. There's another play where they get Bennett in the backfield, and it's holding on the Packers. I would decline this. See what Jerry Glanville wants to do. He accepts it. Okay, so he'd rather push the Packers back to a 2nd and 23. And there's the handoff. Edgar Bennett doesn't go very far in that one.
Well, they're hoping that the second half is better for him than the first half. They've got to find a way to get him going. He's a big part of their offense.
Favre now waiting, rolls out to the right. Is he going to tuck it? He's going to tuck it and get across the 40. Taken down by Fishback, I believe. Yep. The Packers will be punting again. Falcons defense continuing to keep this a close game, and I appreciate that. So, to anyone watching this, I'm sure the only reason you've stuck around is because the Falcons defense has kept it close enough. One more quarter to go. Packers comfortably up by 10. But on the other hand, with 5 turnovers, you think they would be up by more, and let's see if that comes back to haunt them. Tolliver in at quarterback now after Miller has been benched. Tolliver will roll out and get rid of it before he gets sacked, and he'll throw an interception of his own. Turnover number 6 by the Atlanta Falcons. And the boos are raining down here from the Atlanta faithful. And oh man, Disastrous display of holding on to the ball by the Atlanta Falcons.
It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
It's a 10-point game if they give up a field goal. I guess they're technically still in it. Touchdown, and everybody goes home.
No, you really don't, because as soon as you take your foot off the gas.
13 and a half left in this one. Packers up by 10. Packers have turned it over once on a Don Beebe fumble. Falcons, Miller fumbled once and threw 4 picks. Then Tolliver came off the bench and threw a pick. Jesse Tuggle, though, still playing his heart out, as is the Falcons defense, and they will hold the Packers to a field goal attempt. Chris Jackie, it's going to be blocked. Picked up and stumbling. Brian Jordan stumbled. Otherwise, he may have been able to return that for a touchdown, but the Falcons have turned the ball over 6 times. But because of the special teams and their defense, they're still alive. Absolutely insane game so far. Tolliver now, fresh off of his first turnover. He'll sling it deep, and he completes it to Mike Pritchard. And the Falcons are in the red zone. Oh, what is happening here? I cannot believe this is even a game still, and the Falcons are about to possibly make it a 1-score game if Tolliver doesn't turn it over. They'll hand it off to Rozier. He has 3 carries for 7 yards. Still over 11 minutes to go. There is time. 6 turnovers by the Falcons, and they're still alive. Hand off to Pegram. He goes nowhere. Ripped down by Reggie White. 3rd and 12. They're in field goal range. All he's got to do is not turn it over, and this could be a 1-score game. If he get the touchdown, that would be absolutely amazing. Hammered, fumbles the football, and the Packers pick it up. That's turnover number 7 for the Falcons. If it holds, see if they show a replay. Is there any chance that was an incomplete pass? Well, nobody wants to see that part of the replay. Dixon does a nice job running them down, I guess. Okay. I guess it is definitely a fumble. 7 turnovers now by the Falcons. 5 by Chris Miller. 2 by the backup Tolliver. And Brett Favre now will throw it to no one. Brett Favre has not been sharp either, but he has not turned it over, and that's the big difference. 7 turnovers. I cannot believe this is by far the worst played game in best era football so far, and yet their defense and special teams has played so well that they're only down by 10.
And here he'll be brought down a little shy of the 35 at the 36. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people
3rd and 4.
the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football.
Play action pass, Brett Favre fires it, and that's intercepted. And the Falcons, Brett Favre comes and makes the tackle on Fishback. Hey, Favre, he usually gives you a couple a game. He threw that one to Case earlier, but Case dropped it. That time Fishback did not drop it. And the Falcons, I don't even know what to say. They've turned it over 7 times. They look at the scoreboard. They're only down by 2 scores with the ball on the Green Bay side of the field. But every time they seem to have a chance to get back into it, they just turn it over. So most likely you're about to see the Falcons' 8th turnover soon. 10 total turnovers in this game.
chance to make people miss.
Richard does pick up the first down on that carry.
Now, yes, a two-possession game, but a good chunk of time on the clock, so they have the ability still there to run it on second and short, but maybe they need to pick it up a bit.
You're right, they did pick up the
Tolliver from the shotgun. He's got time. Goes across the middle. Broken tackle, and he leaps for the touchdown. The Falcons are back in this thing. Tolliver off the bench. Throws a pick, then fumbles it. But then throws a touchdown pass. And the Falcons are a Norm Johnson extra point away from being down by 3. That's good. 16-13. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. If you are not aware, I am a Bears fan. I definitely expected the 96 Packers to win this game, just like I expected the 85 Bears to beat this Falcons team. The Falcons come out, they turn it over 7 times. I'm afraid the Packers might win this thing by 40. Look at the scoreboard, 16-13. I'm trying to be objective, but I so badly want the Falcons to win this game. Favre now, play action. He wants to wind it up. He wants to put it away on this throw. And he's got his man, Brett Favre, to Don Beebe. An electric throw, and the Packers get the ball all the way down to the 4-yard line. Look at Favre, winds up, slings it 70 yards in the air. Beebe comes down with it, and Dion runs him down before he gets in the end zone. Look at that. Case just mistimed his jumper, didn't even try to jump, just let Beebe get it. Dion flying down the field, able to catch him before he can find the end zone. And the Falcons need to come up huge on this goal line stand here. And off, Bennett. His knee was down. He's not in. But he is down inside the 1. 6.5 minutes to go. Falcons need to come up with 2 more stops here. They'll hand off to Bennett. He's in. Touchdown. And the Packers, just like that, put the Falcons back down by 2 scores. Brett Favre throws the picks that gave the Falcons life. Falcons turn it to a 3-point game, and then he comes out and just launches a 70-yard bomb in the air to Don Beebe to make up for his interception. And now Dion's going to have to return it. That's not going to happen when it's not Dion for some reason. George Thomas returns it to the 29. Not a bad return, just not a Dion touchdown. Well, Tolliver led him to 1 touchdown. Let's see if he can get another one. Billy Joe Tolliver. That's dropped. Reggie White already has 2 sacks today, including a safety.
Not getting a lot of help out there either.
Yeah, you nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better. Got to get more help.
Tolliver underneath. Haynes hit, so he drops it.
Those 2 elements together so they can make some progress in this one.
So he can't hang on, and as I watch that unfold, I remembered an expression that I've heard, maybe from you, I don't know, but you're going to get hit anyways, might as well hold on to the ball.
Well, you know a coach like that, right? Yeah. Not an actual player. No chance at all.
Tolliver scrambles out, and please tell me you got his feet in bounds. He did not. It was a nice find by Tolliver, but the receiver could not get his second foot down. And now the pressure's on. 4th and 10. If there's any hope for the Falcons to come back, they need to pick up 10 yards here. Drops back. Line gives him a little bit of time, and he finds his man Thomas. Excellent play by Tolliver and Thomas there. And the Falcons are technically still alive. 5.5 minutes to go. Play action pass in trouble. Hit as he throws it. Tipped and intercepted by Eugene Robinson. That's his 3rd interception of the game. And turnover number 8 by the Atlanta Falcons. 5 by Chris Miller. 3 more by Billy Joe Tolliver. 8 turnovers. 8 turnovers by the 91 Falcons. And the 96 Packers are looking like they're going to be a 2-0 team.
Going down the middle, and it's complete. And he's able to get this one down to the 40-yard line. He got 18 yards out of that one, and it gets him a new set of downs.
Turnovers.
Well, how about this aggressive approach? Got the lead, fourth quarter.
Favre keeps throwing.
Are you thinking about Super Bowl 51?
It's almost like he wants to keep the clock to see if his defense can get a 9th turnover.
I didn't I?
Yeah, anybody watching Atlanta, our apologies. He'll try again with the arm here on second down.
Brett Favre takes a shot. Lyles with the sack. Not sure why the Packers are still throwing here. But maybe, I don't know, a pick 6 and the game's not over yet. Favre avoids that sack. Avoids another sack. Steps up, fires towards the end zone. That's caught inside the 10.
And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field.
There's a flag. He was over the line when he threw it. Brett Favre was over the line when he threw it, so that wipes out the pass play. And it's loss of down. So it's 4th and 20. Correct. The Falcons still have somewhat of a chance despite 8 turnovers. 8 turnovers.
This is away, but boy, headed straight for the sidelines. Atlanta now coming out on the field.
Billy Joe Dolliver comes back out. He's turned it over 3 times since Miller was benched after 5 turnovers. Not really sure what they're going to do going forward, but Dolliver gets sacked on this one. Brian Williams. So what is that? The Packers defense has 6 sacks, 7 sacks, a safety, and 8 forced turnovers. What a game by the 96 Packers defense. Billy Joe, 7 of 13, over 100 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks.
And that'll force upon him a 3rd and 14. And right now, defensively, you love that, don't you? I mean, you give them that play.
And they'll take it every single time. This is almost like nickeling and diming it downfield.
Dolliver will go towards the sidelines, short of the first down, though. And that will bring us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go. Falcons down by 10. A 4th and 4 here. They got to pick this up to have any chance at all.
Now they're out there again to try once more. As expected, they're going for it to keep the drive.
Dolliver slings it across the middle. Did he hang on? He did. All right. Risen able to hold on to the. He's the one receiver that's been able to hold on to the ball after taking a hit. He is their best receiver. Dolliver runs away from one, cannot get away from the second, and fumbles the ball. That's the 9th turnover. That's turnover number 9. So Chris Miller turns it over 5 times. They bench him. Billy Joe Dolliver comes out and turns it over 4 more times. That's finally the game, I agree, right? If you tuned in thinking that you wanted to see if the 1996 Packers could force 10 turnovers, you may be disappointed, but they did get 9. Absolutely ridiculous. 9 turnovers forced, 1 safety, 7 sacks. Complete domination by the 96 Packers defense. And Gilbert Brown is injured, so they're doing this without the big man in the middle. Falcons still believe, despite 9 turnovers, they're still using their timeouts. Maybe they're just calling timeouts to see if Deion Sanders can return the kick. It's got to be the only reason the fans are still here, if there are any. Oh, but Edgar Bennett puts that away as he runs it across the first down marker. Nice hard run by Edgar Bennett, and that should finally let this game mercifully end. The scoreboard says it's only a 10-point game, but it was the ugliest offense that we've seen so far in Best Era football, that's for sure. Although I do like the fact that we've seen last week's one of the Monday Night Football games featured John Elway throwing for 560 yards, and offense, it was just on fire. And then you have a game like this where the team turns it over 9 times, so you never know what you're going to get. And that part's exciting. But one thing that we're starting to learn is when you see the 96 Packers play, they're going to win. And that is aggravating as a Bears fan, but they were a great team, so 85 Bears aren't too bad themselves, so we won't just give them the division. But the Packers are the team that's off to a 2-0 start, along with the 98 Vikings. The 85 Bears are 1-1, and the 1991 Detroit Lions will be coming up next on Monday Night Football against the 1986 New York Giants. Ryan, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed 9 turnovers by the Atlanta Falcons. Hopefully you're not a Falcons fan. There you see how the scoring went, 23-13 Packers. Kudos to both defenses, really, but especially the 96 Packers just absolutely dominated this game. I'll be back perhaps today. I don't know if I have time. Let me see what time it is. I probably do not have time today. But later this week, we'll bring you the Monday night game, 86 Giants against the 91 Lions. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good day, Ryan. Anyone else who watches this later, hope you're having a good day as well. Again, this is the Phantom Fighter channel, best era of football. Check out the playlist, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Have a good one, everyone.
From Philadelphia.